You're listening to the Breakfast Show podcast on Faith FM. Positively different.
Now it's the time for our weekly geopolitical update with none other than the man of the law, Justin Lawman himself. Justin, welcome to you. Great to have you, brother. What do you bring from the outside world today?
Hey, Scaffy. I normally start with overseas, but I've got to start with Australia today.
Okay, well, let's do it.
These hate speech laws. It's really hard to get a handle on what's in the 144 pages, and it's very nuanced and everything, but it really seems to be a terrible overreach by the government on my part. The government has already hit some real troubled waters trying to get this through because they were putting it through in what they call an omnibus. So the gun laws and the hate speech laws were all together. The Greens will support the gun laws, which you'd expect the Greens to do. And then when it comes to the hate speech, but they won't touch it. Their deputy leader is from originally comes from Pakistan and is of the Islamic faith. There's a lot of problems with this hate speech law that really, I think, is going to sweep up so many people. You know, in the UK, 12,000 people have gone to jail because of what they've posted on the internet.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Wow,
it's nuts.
And yeah, and there is a caveat as well in that hate speech laws, Justin. You know that they said, unless it is in the context of a religious discussion or religious study. But then you open up everybody that would be, they can say, hey, by the way, this is just a religious discussion, and then they can say whatever they want. So I don't think it was going to be an effective law at all. The only thing is that it's going to now make a crime is instead of incitation of violence, we're going one step back now and say now incitation of hatred. So if you're saying something that might lead you to hate someone else or some group, that is going to be a crime. But then it's so hard to put your finger on and say, hey, what does it constitute that?
And look, the real issue here that everyone's dancing around is radical Islam. And these laws aren't going to change that.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's taking away the freedoms that every Australian has enjoyed. You can have an argument, sticks and stones will break my bones, but names will never hurt me. And we can win the argument and move on. And I just don't like that they are restricting our speech more and more and more. We already have hate speech laws. So that's happening Tuesday, the debate. It's something to pray about. If you're that way inclined, call your representative in your area and voice how you're feeling about it. The more noise it's made, the more they realise, hey, we can't touch this. This is toxic. So let's see what happens there. But that's something at home here in Australia, which I could see we could very quickly end up like England, where you can be prosecuted for sharing an opinion on Facebook.
So, Justin, what would be like, the top points, maybe one or two points that you would, if someone was going to write down concern, what do you think, in your opinion, would be like the top most concerning issues with that bill?
Well, a part of the bill that if you're quoting a text from, say, the Quran, you can't be prosecuted for hate speech. If the Quran says something that is hateful, that's okay. And the Quran says some pretty straight things that are very much fall in that category. Well, that's not even covered by this law. And the other part of the law is it's a perception of it's hateful. It doesn't have to actually... It might offend someone, and so even though no one is offended, that's enough. This is such an overreach. The main thing you'd want to express is we have hate speech laws. They've worked fine. Deal with the real issue. The real issue isn't speech.
Yeah, absolutely.
True.
Well,
it was violence.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Well, just that's some really interesting updates here. And look, another thing that I noticed is that from time to time, there has been some laws that have been tried to go the rounds on Parliament, particularly laws restricting religious freedoms. And every single time these laws have been squashed, I'm wondering if you tell them or if I tell them, but I don't think that God is very pleased when people are starting to talk about, diminishing people's freedoms to worship according to their consciences.
No, God's a libertarian. He allows us to make dreadful mistakes. Even though they're going to be a mistake, he'll allow you to do it. And if we reflect God, we should give people freedoms.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you. Wow, that's a great start for the morning. That's a very important topic here. So, as Justin mentioned, communicate, talk to your representative, and express your concerns with that law. The more noise that it's done, the less overreach we will be ended up seeing. What about Greenland? I've heard some interesting things about Greenland as well. What's happening there, Justin? Because sometimes it's hard to really put a finger. Is America actually going to get Greenland by force?
I don't think they'll need force. I think this is, I shouldn't laugh, but the French president came out and said we're going to defend Greenland and Denmark because Denmark owns Greenland. So they sent 15 troops.
15?
And Finland sent 2. And there's a total of 33 or 32 troops have gone there to defend Greenland. So
that's worth laughing about.
I mean, at least in Sparta they have 300, right? So now we're trying to just give a tithe of that.
Well, and he now, in response to that, Trump has said, okay, here's some tariffs for you guys. You want to sell your cars into the United States? You're going to pay 25% tariff if I don't get Greenland. So
he loves his tariffs.
He loves his tariffs, and in Bible prophecy is you can't buy or sell unless you receive the mark. Yeah. That this tariff thing actually has a
power.
biblical application at the end of time.
Yeah, some economic pressure.
And Greenland, and this is the debate. Everyone's saying why they want it. They say, there's rare earths there. It's not about rare earths. This is Justin's opinion now. This is all Justin's opinion. They say, the ice is melting and it's going to be a big seaway because there'll be no ice. It's not about the ice. It is about the Golden Dome that Trump wants to build to defend the U.S. against an attack that would come from China or Russia across the top of the globe. That's why he wants this, in my humble opinion.
I 100% agree.
Look, I was talking to a friend of mine who's Danish, and of course, his opinion doesn't represent the opinion of the entire Danish nation. But I always like to talk to people from the country where when there's news involved. And he said, hey, do you guys as Danish people, do you feel really, really strongly about Greenland? And he says, no, I mean,
Greenland, there, right?
We just spend money with Greenland. We don't get anything back from them. If the United States wants to buy it from us, give us the money and we'll be happy. And the Greenlanders, they don't want to be with the Danish either. They want to be independent for a long, long time.
Yeah,
of course they do.
When Danish starts to become very precious about Greenland, it starts asking, maybe this is negotiation tactics, or am I seeing things here?
Yeah.
Well, America's had a number of bases. They have a big air base right up at the top of Greenland to this day, where their Space Force is based. And they've had 3 or 4 different bases during the Cold War. They basically abandoned them. They sold one of the towns back to the Greenland government for $1.
$1
after they abandoned it. So it's a bit funny that he has to own it, but that's what's going on. And I have to say, one of the most significant things that's happened in the last week that hasn't got into the media sphere that heavily, the Canadian Prime Minister has visited China, and he's made a speech there where he describes a new world order which doesn't really involve the US currency being traded in, and he has really sided with China.
Oh, wow. So Canada is joining that bandwagon now.
Wow.
I'm gonna make a prediction here, guys, that whatever Greenland is, Canada and their alignment with China will be 10 times that, maybe 20 times that in Trump's eyes. And we are going to hear a heck of a lot more. Because remember when Trump first got elected, he said that Canada should become a state of the United States. Remember that?
Yes.
That's still part of his plan, I reckon.
This is a part of the Greenland deal. This is a part of hemispherical defense.
Yeah.
And if I'm in Canada today, I'm telling you now, guys, Trump is on the march here. He wants that whole hemisphere to be a part of U.S. territory.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely. Well, that is very interesting. And look, as you mentioned, I think that when we see the United States stretching their claws, so to speak, in terms of their influence globally, we cannot help but to think of Revelation 13 and the beast of the earth and how the whole world would be asking them, who can wage war against that beast? It's because the United States really is unmatched. When you look at Russia and China, the thing with Russia is that they have a lot of nukes, a lot of atomic bombs, but their military is nowhere close to what the United States represents in terms of military. Same thing with China. So I think that a lot of people should give way more credit to the Bible predictions about the United States as the last global superpower. And I think that not a lot of people know. By the way, we actually do have a resource, Justin, here that we're giving away, which is a free Bible study on the United States in Bible prophecy. Because I think it's pretty remarkable that the Bible predicted the United States of America to be the last global superpower hundreds and hundreds of years before the United States was even a dream in anyone's mind.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are not quite aware. They don't know. They heard about it, but they don't know exactly where to find these texts. But they can text us here with #USA, and we'll send that resource for them.
If you were just looking at history, you would say America's on the decline and it's about to be replaced. That would make sense. You can see it's happened to Spain. It happened to Holland. It happened to the UK. It's all through history. Powers have changed, and you'd think America's declining and they're about to be replaced. That's not what the Bible says.
If you'd like to get to know more about what does the Bible say about the United States of America and its role in the end of times, text us here 0491 064 669 with #USA, and we will send you a Bible study guide. Justin, before we have about a minute left. Can you give us just some updates about what's happening in Iran? Because we reported here that there has been some very evil things happening there, haven't they?
Shocking. And all eyes are again on the US here and what Trump is going to do. Senator Lindsey Graham's flown to Israel because Trump won't bomb Iran. He said, they've stopped now. They're not doing the killings. I don't know if that's true. If America goes in and bombs, it's like Venezuela. He didn't replace the government of Venezuela because of what happened in Iraq when America came in and sacked everyone and replaced everything. It went to chaos. I think they're worried what will happen if they do take out all the leadership of Iran, what replaces it? And that's, I don't think America is necessarily going to go in and do anything there just yet. They're not. They're focused domestically on Minnesota and the problems they have internally right now.
That's very interesting to know. And you're right. Like sometimes the chaos that ensues these kinds of when you decapitate a government, it's sometimes worse than the government itself. And
shocking.
In the United
States,
led
to ISIS.
Yeah, led to ISIS. You look at what happened in what's the name of the country? It's
Iraq.
Yes, with Muammar Gaddafi. Is it Tunisia?
No, Libya.
Libya is one example. Now it became an ISIS stronghold, where before it was, sure, they had a bad dictator, but at least they had order. So it's a very, very difficult trade-off, this one, to calculate.
Thanks for being a part of the Faith FM family. Join our community on Facebook or get in touch at 1-800-FAITH-FM.